If you or a loved one relies on a SASSA grant to make ends meet, whether it's the older person's grant, disability grant, or the SRDR 370, what's coming in August 2025 is something you cannot afford to ignore. Quietly, but significantly, a number of changes are being put into motion that will directly affect how much you receive, when you receive it, and how the payments are processed. In this video, we are breaking down verified insights from a SASSA policy expert, not rumors, not speculation, but real information you can trust, based on the latest confirmations from the Department of Social Development and Treasury. These updates could mean the difference between a smooth month and unexpected financial strain. Among the key changes, a proposed shift in payment dates for certain groups due to administrative streamlining, banking delays that may affect post-bank clients, and important updates to means test thresholds that could disqualify some applicants without warning if they're not careful. There's also breaking information on how the SRDR 370 grant might be extended with additional qualifying rules, and new identification verification methods being piloted to crack down on fraud, all of which might affect genuine recipients like yourself. If you've ever stood in a long queue, waited days for SMS confirmation, or wondered if your grant would reflect on time, this is the information you've been waiting for. It's not just about dates and numbers. It's about stability, preparation, and protecting your income. We'll also cover what you need to do today to make sure you stay compliant and don't accidentally miss out on your August payment. Don't rely on word of mouth. Don't fall for misleading Facebook posts. This is your complete guide, honest, clear, and designed to help you navigate the system confidently. Let's get straight into what's changing, what it means for you, and how you can make sure you're ready. So, to start, let me paint the actual picture of how August 2025 will play out for anyone relying on a SASSA grant. Imagine waking up at the beginning of the month, expecting your regular older person's grant or SRD payment. You check your phone or bank account and find nothing there yet. That's not just frustrating. It's stressful. And when you're managing a tight budget, even a slight delay can unsettle everything from groceries and clinic visits to transport costs. That's why we're diving into the heart of the changes, demystifying each piece, and giving you the confidence to navigate through. Let's begin with payment dates. For years, most recipients have been accustomed to seeing their grants deposited around a particular week each month. But this August, things shift. According to reliable information from SASSA sources, certain groups, especially those still using bank branches like Postbank or certain older processing centers, will receive payments a few days earlier or a few days later than usual. That means you might see your grant appear on, say, the 6th instead of the 5th, or the 11th instead of the 10th. This isn't speculation, it comes straight from internal memos and policy guidance issued in May 2025. The reason? An administrative restructuring that's aimed at balancing load across systems and reducing queue crowding earlier in the month. At first glance, either shift may not seem dramatic. But consider this: if your pension or grant normally pays on the 10th and your ATM withdrawals happen on the 11th, and electricity load shedding is expected around the 12th, then having your funds a day later could cause those planned payments to lag. And if it's a day earlier, and your post office or bank is closed, you could waste time or even miss the opportunity to take out your funds in person. So, I'll show you exactly how to check and confirm your payment timing before August 1st, so you can plan around it. Now, on to means test thresholds. These are guidelines that determine who qualifies. Every year, SASSA adjusts the maximum allowable income and asset limits you can have before they pause your grant. This August, there's a bigger increase in the threshold than usual. On the surface, that's good news. Yes, inflation is still biting, but for many, the lift means they stay eligible. However, what's tricky is how the new thresholds are calculated and how household cohabitation rules are interpreted. For instance, you might live with your adult child or grandchildren. Previously, your grant wasn't affected, but now the new rules are stricter about income pooling in the household. If your household member earns above a certain amount and you don't declare contributions correctly, SASSA may suspend or delay your grant until you update your form and prove that your income is separate. It may take multiple steps: visiting a pay point to resubmit financial declarations, providing certified statements from your bank, or getting affidavits, and these steps take time. So, in my explanation, I'll offer practical advice on how to gather the correct documents now, ahead of the August changes, so there's no gap. Let me take you through a typical scenario. Suppose you live with an employed adult child whose small salary just exceeds the threshold, and you receive support from them at times. Under the new guidelines, you must formally declare that contribution when you apply or renew. Provided it doesn't exceed the percentage of your own grant, you may still qualify, but failure to declare or misstating that support could disqualify you outright. I'm going to share exact phrasing you can use when speaking to SASSA officials or filling in forms, ensuring clarity and reducing chances of miscommunication. Speaking of officials, a big update this August involves identity verification improvements. Fraud has been a major challenge, and SASSA is piloting new biometric checks at certain pay points. Instead of just signing your receipt or providing your ID book, you may now be asked to use fingerprint or facial recognition. That might feel intimidating or unfamiliar, but here's the reassuring part: it's voluntary at rollout stage, and it won't delay your payments permanently. They're doing it in phases, first in urban centers, then expanding to rural offices after feedback. So, if you're not comfortable at first, you can opt out and still get your payment the regular way. But it's wise to try it. Over time, it will become standard, so getting used to it early will only make life easier for you later on. I'll walk you through what to expect, how to position your finger for good scans, and how to ask for help if the machine doesn't work right away. Another frequently asked question is, will this affect my SADR 370 grant? Short answer, for now, no. But there are updates you need to watch. Ministerial discussions from late June indicated that the SRD grant may continue to a $5 billion in national budget allocation, but with new qualifying rules starting August. That means certain people who previously qualified automatically may now need to reapply or submit additional documentation, like proof of recent employment termination or bank statements to confirm no current income. The good news: as of right now, existing recipients who have continuous SRD status will continue receiving payments, but you are required to revalidate your application online by mid-August. It's not as simple as pressing a button. You need to upload either your bank statement or a letter from your previous employer, or a sworn affidavit if you're self-employed or casual. Don't leave that until the last minute because, trust me, uploading documents for hundreds of thousands of people at the same time could crash the system. I'll explain step by step how to prepare those documents offline, what file types are accepted, PDF or PNG only, and how to run the upload process during low traffic hours for best success. We should also talk about banking delays, especially for post-bank grant recipients. In recent months, Postbank has had technical issues with their bulk payment systems, especially on Mondays or month-end closures. A few recipients have reported delays up to 3 business days. So for August, if your Postbank account is where your grant is deposited, you may want to switch temporarily to a different banking method or visit your local SASSA office in advance to confirm your bank details. If you'd rather not deal with potential downtime at Postbank, I'll show how to change your payment method to a more reliable bank. Most major banks in South Africa are faster, or even pick it up in cash at a pay point, with minimal disruption. It's important to emphasize, these changes aren't arbitrary, they're part of an overall digital transformation plan SASSA and Treasury have been rolling out. The main aim is to reduce fraud and increase efficiency, but in this transition, there will be bumps. For example, the new grant delivery audit unit is conducting random checks, particularly on people who receive multiple grants or live in shared households. If you're among those flagged, SASSA may put your payment on hold until your documents are verified. That means, to avoid delays, submit copies of your valid ID, bank statements, proof of residence, and a declaration of household income even if you've submitted in the past. An important tip here: always ask for a stamped receipt after you hand in your documents or upload them online. This acts as your proof should something get misplaced. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about how to use this information to your advantage. That means not just reacting, but proactively preparing your paperwork, timing your online actions, and communicating clearly with SASSA staff. For example, if you're using the online SRD portal, try accessing it early in the morning or late at night. These are off-peak hours with faster load times. Have your bank statement pre-scanned and saved on your phone or USB drive. If you live in unstable electricity areas, keep printed copies too, in case your device won't power up. If biometric verification is available at your nearest pay point, go in advance on a quiet day, not on payday, to practice the scan and make sure it works with your fingerprint or face recognition. The more familiar you become with the new systems, the less likely you will be caught off guard in August. There's one more quiet but important policy change: improved recourse mechanisms. Previously, if your grant was delayed or suspended, you might have waited weeks for an appeal outcome. With the new system, SASSA has promised a faster 24 to 48-hour turnaround on processing appeals for documentary compliance, like submitting missing ID or bank statements. That doesn't mean your grant returns instantly. It means SASSA will act quickly on your proof, and ideally your funds will follow within the next pay cycle. My advice: if you're asked to submit missing documentation, do so as soon as possible, and always request a case number for follow-up. If after 48 hours nothing changes, you can escalate it to the provincial SASSA complaints desk, referencing the turnaround commitment. I'll show you sample language to use in your emails or complaints form, to keep it clear and firm, but still respectful. Remember, knowledge is power. Action brings security. And this video is your roadmap through August changes, on your terms, at your pace, and above all, with your dignity intact.